Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Maybe you need a timeout.
Welcome to the Luke and Rory podcast. Here are two guys, knuckleheads if you may, who jump in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live show.
You know, it's exciting.
They've decided to take that Facebook Live show and put it into a podcast.
Oh, good for you!
Why? Because can you really get enough of Luke and Rory?
That's a good one.
Meet Luke Weaver, who's known for his dead sexy hair.
You are an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to us all.
Meet Rory Pitts, who's never found an apple cup he can't be disappointed about.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
Two guys who went to the same high school, love the same music, love sports, love movies, love their families.
Look at these clowns. Hand-picked monkeys.
All right, looks like the boys are caffeinated and ready to go.
Come on, get some coffee. You want some coffee?
That's enough nonsense. Now let's join the show.
Sound good?
I got some coffee. None of it. Coffee?
None of it sounds good.
Hey, I would like to put it out there. I would like to thank, and I made sure to save this on my phone here. I would like to thank the Commissioner of Public Lands, Hillary Franz, who's also running for some dumbass office here in Washington. I'd like to thank her for enacting a fire ban in the state of Washington until September. Not a, hey, if you've got a fire pit or a metal fire pit, or you're a reasonable, sensible, common sense homeowner with a freaking hose right next to your fire. Not that, no.
I've got hose.
We're going to ban fires throughout the entire state of Washington. I was thinking this as I was driving in this morning in the nice, cold, overcast day. And I was even talking to my neighbor yesterday. I'm like, I'd love to have a fire with you, man. But, apparently we're not responsible. We can't control ourselves.
So what you're telling me is that you're a rule follower.
Yeah, I know you're not because I've already seen your pictures.
Yeah. I post a picture and tag that broad. I'm like, come find me. Come find me, dude.
Well, I'm one more overcast day away from just saying, you know what? Screw it.
I'm not Billy Joel. I did start the fire. All right. Buffington, goodness. Good morning, buddy.
Oh, there he is. Let's get him on here.
Yeah, I don't give a crap, dude.
There he is. Good morning.
I got a fire ring in the middle of my yard.
I usually figure it's one of two things. Either you didn't pay attention to the news or you don't give a crap.
Yeah.
And normally it's the second one.
Yeah, it is. I don't give a crap. Meanwhile, I'm going to Idaho next week, Sam Buffington.
Oh, there you go.
And, and there's a spot for you on my campfire at Farragut State Park next week. And there's no fire restrictions in northern Idaho. So,
oh, wow. Kind of like no mask restrictions from a couple years ago?
Yeah, dude. Remember that picture that Rach and I posted that just pissed off the world?
Yes.
We walked into Super One, which, by the way, the best store in the world. And they have beer tasting in the grocery store. It's like it immediately moved up the chart. And it's got Ace Hardware. Buff, dude, we're gonna be we're camping Farragut all next week, taking the kids to that wonderful theme park, Silverwood, and gonna be spending some time in the lake on Pend Oreille. Maybe we'll get a chance to hook up. Anywho,
good morning, everyone.
Yeah, we walked into Super One. There was no mask stuff, so we did the mask picture and posted it. And then I got, of course, all my liberal friends were just beside themselves. So thought I was gonna die. Here I stand.
That's north of me. Sweet.
Yeah,
it says.
Absolutely. Let's figure it out. All right.
Well, I can tell you this. After the show last week, the next day, I felt it coming on.
Oh, by the way, this is Rory.
Yeah, that's me.
This guy, the guy that's pissing off the land commissioner, that's Luke. Welcome to Live with Luke and Rory. Thanks, Sam. I'll give you a shout. I don't know how far you are away, but, if you're cruising around. And Chris, good morning, buddy. Hey, I need an update on the little one, man. How's your daughter doing, brother? Anyways, when you want to come hang out by the campfire for a little bit, we'd love to see you. So,
don't worry. Hillary doesn't know where he lives, so
yeah, I know.
I think she's running for Congress. There's a couple of knuckleheads that are running for federal offices out of our state. Dude, I'm getting so many flyers. It's almost like I've got liberal friends who are playing a prank on me. They're like, hey, let's give Pitts' address because we know that this is going to piss him off.
You know what the worst one? Send me a message, bro, and I'll see what I can do. Love it. Tell me about what you felt coming on first. You felt last week.
Yeah. So Christy, the past month, Christy's been working in
Christy is his wife.
Child care facility. And if you've ever worked in child care before, you know that colds and flus and
Petri
everything,
dish.
It's a Petri dish.
Yeah.
And so Christy was not feeling good the week prior. And then all of a sudden, Bella started not feeling good. And both Ryan and I were like, vitamin C.
We're moving to the shed.
Yeah, we're living in the shed. Well, Thursday night, I start feeling the little tickle in the back of the throat. And I'm like, no. Woke up Friday. So I spent my weekend at home sick with a fever and sinus pressure and a cough.
Can I ask a question, though?
Yeah.
Be honest. Christy's not watching, so. Is there ever times where you get sick and you're like, hell yeah, I'm catching up on that series. I'm watching those movies I've been putting off.
Normally, yes.
But there's been some times when I get sick and I'm like, everyone leave that alone.
But you know how it is. Us men, we're wusses when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, the dad cold, dude.
You get the head pressure, the sinus pressure, and a fever.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this I can't just sit here and go, oh honey, I just can't get up.
Yeah.
I'm watching the show. No, it's like this effing sucks.
I get that sinus stuff, bro. I'm telling you, it is a dad cold situation.
Oh, it totally is.
I don't know how many times I've been sure I'm dying of AIDS. Like I'm like, dude, I'm on my way out.
Christy went to work.
Leave the light.
Her employer said, unless you are, coming out both ends, come on into work. And me, I felt what I felt over the weekend, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying home all weekend.
Yeah,
which is frustrating because it's like, oh, good, it's a time to catch up.
Well,
on
and I got
stuff.
the same situation at home with my wife. Like, even if she's got a leg falling off, she'll bandage it back on and get things done. And I'm over there.
I'll get your loan locked in.
Yeah.
Just let me move this leg over here.
She's doing housework, and I'm like on the couch, like, I think mine's way worse.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what I'm feeling right now. Just rolling her eyes.
I had a family member ask me if I went to go get tested for COVID, and I'm just like,
I know, that's my favorite one.
And I told them honestly, I said, why? What does it matter?
I'm not going anywhere anyway.
Right, I'm doing the same thing I would do if I did test positive, which I'm pretty sure it was COVID. Whatever the new version of COVID is, I'm sure that's what it was.
Well, we got a friend, and I'm not going to drop names, but they're like, kids all sick or whatever, and they're immediately like, oh, it's got to be COVID.
DEFCON 4!
I'm like, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. And I'm that guy. Like, I'm people, they're supposed to come over, and then they're like, and I know you're a little different than this because you're a germaphobe, I mean, regardless of COVID, you're a germaphobe. But people are like, oh, we're a little, we got a cold, and I know people are like, what if it's COVID? They can't come over.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I got kids. Carry on, my wayward son. Like, we're not ruining the weekend for this.
It's one of those things I've noticed as I've gotten older that I don't want to be out for the count a few days afterwards. If I've got something going on a few days, I'm like, Like we had a situation come up 2 months ago, and it was an opportunity for us to go over to somebody's house, and they told Christy, they said, oh, we got a couple of kids, and so is not feeling too good. They've been running a fever.
I got a couple of kids too.
And I'm just like, nope, that's okay. We're good. We'll do it another time. I don't want to get sick. I don't have, I feel like I don't have that luxury to get sick. Now, fortunately, I had nothing pressing this weekend. I was going to try and put some topsoil on the property, but that didn't happen. But yeah, dude.
I got to have the shakes, honestly, to be down. Like, if it's a cold, I'm rolling.
You know what I hate? I love and I hate at the same time is the achy muscles. Like, a part of me is like, this is cool, and the other part of me is like, oh, this is not good.
What I hate the most is that feeling of, like, you don't want anything touching your skin. It's like crawly. Like, you don't want a shirt on. You just want to be naked, but it's inappropriate, apparently.
Well, it was Walmart.
So I've been told. What do you mean no service? Anyway, so yeah, it just drives me bananas. But
so anyways,
that feeling.
Yeah, Ryan. We thought Ryan was going to get by without getting it. He got it. So everybody got it. And then my poor dog. So my poor dog. It's like every freaking week. So this guy, he clearly has a food allergy. This guy does not listen to the vet when the vet says, "Hey, we think your dog has a food allergy. You might want to switch up your food." What the hell do you know?
Yeah.
Old Roy knows what to.
Old Roy.
Yeah, that's what you get from Walmart.
I know.
Old Roy. Well, this poor guy.
It's good enough for Roy. It's good enough for Sam.
So as I'm heading downhill Thursday night, Friday morning, I'm noticing that my guy is starting to gnaw on his tail a little bit more than usual. Not a big deal. We forgot to give him his flea meds, so we're like, okay, we're just a little bit late on the flea meds. He's a little itchy. We'll get him the flea meds. He'll be fine. Well, this dumbass, and Sam, if you ever watch the show, I love you, man, but you're a dumbass.
All right.
This dumbass decides to chew and break his skin on his tail to the point where he gets it infected and pus filled.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to the point where we had to put the cone of shame on him and took him to the vet, and they trimmed all the hair, and then they got it all cleaned up. And the cone of shame, he could just barely get it with his tail, with his mouth and his tail. So we had to put the donut of shame on as well. So he's got the donut and the cone of shame on right now, and he can't reach that spot on his tail. But I was like, everybody, our cat's freaking blind and taking dumps everywhere. Things are falling apart in the Pitts house.
You're not far behind.
No. I saw the cat took a crap over by the kitchen table last night. I'm like, that's not a bad spot. I think I'll join you. I don't feel like walking to the bathroom either.
Imagine what Christy has to say about all this, and then she's got you.
I know. Well, I'm a handful enough. She thought it was going to get easier when the kids moved out.
No, Rory just leveled up.
But on the bright side, I got to do a Zoom meeting with Ryan yesterday with the OC theater and film department.
Yeah.
And that actually looks kind of promising.
Nice, good.
Yeah, he's all about the video editing side of things.
Yeah.
So I saw him light up when they were talking about the different things and doing walkthroughs and everything.
Yeah.
So things are good. Things are crazy. Things are just like the rest of America.
The rest of America, dude. And the rest of America can essentially shove it. So
apparently,
go ahead.
So apparently Joe quit, huh?
We were talking about this last week.
Please call it that.
Yeah.
He's not strong and brave. He quit. Sorry. Just want to get to the point.
This is the narrative, right? Propaganda and narrative.
Oh yeah.
Like
one hell of a model American.
Yeah. Listen, Goebbels. All right. Like it can't be like everyone forcing him out.
Right.
And then what an outstanding, selfless human. Like it can't be both. Like there are times it can be both, right? We've had this discussion before. Like we've talked about with politics. Like I'm very conscientious about environmental issues and land issues. And I've had people tell me, well, you're conservatives. I'm like, don't put me in a box. Like, shame on you. Like I can be both. Like, and
to that extent, we have guessed people.
Yeah.
And been completely wrong.
Wow. Yeah. Like our client in Tacoma a while ago.
Right.
I was like, all right, buddy, here we go.
Oh boy.
And then by the time we left, we were.
You know what? I'm just gonna say that was
in the yard.
That was one of the best things I think I've seen in a long time. When we walked up to a house, had a rainbow flag on it, and we're like, oh boy, how's this gonna go?
It wasn't. No, mind you, it wasn't just like the flag. There was a lot of like stuff that was like kind of making us think like, okay, we're on opposite sides of the aisle. But yeah,
we walk in the door, we sit down, and this person was about the most conservative that side of the rainbow that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was like, man, are you allowed at the meetings?
Right.
Like, if not, we can have our own meeting. But, so.
By the way, it's awesome. Nobody's watching the show today.
That's all right. They'll watch it later. Apparently, we have people that listen on the podcast that I have no idea about, so that's good news. Yeah, I don't know, man. You can't be both in that situation. You can't be forced out and then be selfless for being forced out. Like, it just doesn't work.
Did you watch his 11-minute thing last night?
No, I just saw. I don't know if you have this. I have this. I have a hard time sometimes watching awkward things. That makes sense.
Well, I'm right here.
Like, yeah, I know. That's why I tune. No, like you ever like someone will be like, dude, you got to see what Kamala Harris did. One of her word salads.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I'm like 2 cents into it. I'm like, I can't. I'm cringing. Turn it off. Like, that's like the worst thing for me. And then I'm looking around like, do they think I'm enjoying this? I don't want them to think I'm enjoying this. Like, it's so when things are cringy, I'm like, just turn it off. Like, I've gotten a little better with Kamala because it's just so flippin' funny. Like, Rachel's like, I'll be like, dude, you gotta watch this. And she's like, if it's Kamala, I don't want to see it. And I'm like, but she's talking about unburdening again. Like, it's like
unburden the things that have been burdened by the past that's in the present.
Oh my gosh. And putting off today what was the future tomorrow. I'm just but anyways, so I didn't watch last night because I was like, I'm just gonna cringe for 11 minutes. I don't know about it. I saw a couple clips. It didn't seem too bad.
It was irritating.
Like they meted him up enough that he didn't like fumble through it.
If I hear about preserving democracy or saving democracy or the threat to democracy, I can't take it anymore.
I know.
And at one point he even brought up the fact that we're a republic, and I'm like, whoa, who threw that in the prompter? We know that Burgundy reads everything that's on the prompter.
Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Let's put it in Republic. Let's see what he says.
I'm Joe Biden. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, the one thing I don't understand, and you guys can answer this for me, is how is it that this guy is not good enough to run for president? He's so strong and he's quick as a cat and his reflexes and his mind and all that. How is it that he can't run for president, but he can continue to stay in office?
I can answer that.
I mean, I understand it on the surface, but he's clearly declining.
Yeah, I don't like the whole, who was it? Speaker of the House was like
Johnson.
Yeah, it was like, oh, if you can't run, then you're not strong enough. You need to step down. And I was like, well, hold on, pump the brakes. Like, now, granted, I think he's down the trail, but
I agree.
But I don't associate the two. And in all honesty, I would rather whatever they're doing to keep Bernie up for the weekend, like they just continue to do it until we get through. Versus right now,
I agree in the sense that you can't equate the two, but
because there's things that I can do, but I want to stop.
They are two different sentences that are in the same paragraph. Okay, so he's not good enough to run for president anymore. Stop. How is it that he is still president in his current condition? Stop. So, I mean, you can have both of those sentences there and just be like, what is going on here? Why? And I know they won't invoke the 25th because he's strong and brave.
Well, it's tough to do it, I think, with this short of time left, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes for the 25th.
Oh, by the way, I got an answer as to why Gavin Newsom cannot.
They're both from California.
Yeah, I did not know. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were both from California, but I didn't realize that they're actually.
One of them's got to move.
There is an amendment. I did not know that.
One of them's got to move, and then you'd have to find another state to take that ass clown. So.
Oh, by the way, speaking of ass clowns, did you see what?
Right here, buddy.
Did you see what Gavin Newsom has done this morning?
Oh God!
Look at that. Newsom orders California officials to remove homeless encampments.
Welcome back, bud.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome back.
How amazing. We got to shine up California because that's where Kamala's from.
Oh, my gosh.
Bro.
Now, riddle me this, Batman.
All right.
I feel as if, well, first off, I got two things to cover, so keep me on track.
All right. Choo-choo. Are people leaving?
Now they're telling me to go back. I'm just going to shoot myself in the face. But that's all right. That's all right.
Is he watching the show? You better be watching the show.
Carrie Ann, my girl. Good morning, sweetie. We love you.
Did the comments stop again? They may have stopped again.
No. We just got to hate your water. Right. Anyway, Carrie Ann. Okay, keep me on track on these two things.
Choo-choo.
Because I want both of these to be discussed. One, and this is the second thing, and then we'll go back to the first thing. The second thing I want to discuss, keep me on track, is the uphill battle I believe that she faces.
Okay.
Kamala, for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
And one of them is obviously the border crisis, her inability to put coherent sentences together. Anyway,
There she is. Hey guys,
my girl, very close. And here's the first part of it. I guess if I'm a liberal and I like her, I don't care. You know, sometimes in life where you're just like, well, it's breaking the rules, but we're getting what we want. So how if you're I've seen a lot of independents this week that are on the fence in chats and on X and all these different places be like, hey, I'm not a fan of Trump, but I'm voting for him now simply for the fact that we didn't get to have a primary. We didn't get to have a say in who the Democratic representation is. They just decided.
Right.
Yes. And that is dictatorship, and that is socialism, and all kinds of different things. And it's like, and I don't know how people on the liberal side are not more pissed.
I'd be pissed. Yeah, because I've heard that they're actually going to try and get her unofficially or officially nominated as the candidate before the convention. Because I guess the way that they can do it virtually. And I agree with you. I'm like, I'd be pissed.
How does this even make sense, like constitutionally?
Like maybe I don't want her as a liberal. Maybe I don't want
her.
Or
at least I want like, hey, maybe it's an abbreviated. Hey, we got to get this knocked out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we're going to have a debate. Everyone throw their hat in the ring. I don't know, but like to me, there's got to be something. There's got to be some kind of due process.
I feel like they're testing her right now. They're going to test her for the next week or two to test the water and see if she's going to work. And if she is, then they're going to go ahead and they're going to virtually nominate her and take care of it and everything. But I agree with you. If I was part of the Democrat Party right now, which I'm not, thank goodness, but if I was, I would want a debate. I would want candidates. I would want a knife fight. I would want it to be like Anchorman. Yeah. I want them all to come out with tridents and nunchucks and whatever. I want to fight to see who can survive, because you know how many primaries Kamala won in the presidential race in 2000?
Carrie, due process. Luke has jokes today. Unintentional laughs.
So, again, do you know how many primaries Kamala won in 2020?
None.
0.
Yeah. 0.0.
She was the first one to drop out of the race.
She was. Did you see the video that's being circulated? It's kind of... I feel like this is in Kamala's Facebook stories, and she wishes she could like archive it, but where Tulsi Gabbard just destroyed her.
Oh, yes.
And they're like, and it was like all the posts on her, like the moment Kamala's candidacy was over, and like Tulsi Gabbard brought all these stacks, and there was nothing she could say. Like it was like,
something I've mentioned to you
Tulsi,
before.
come back, I miss you.
She actually wants people to vote for Trump. She put it on one of her videos.
I know.
Something that I hate about this entire political process, and I've mentioned it before, is that during these primaries, the Republicans, the Democrats, they go after each other. They try and I know I just said I wanted a Ron Burgundy fight, but they go after each other. And then once someone prevails, then they all, that person's the greatest. For example, last week, DeSantis and Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Loved Donald Trump last week. But before that, he's a threat to democracy. He's out of control.
The Haley thing is funny.
And that's what drives me nuts.
She was the last one.
Well, and the reason I bring this up is Kamala ripped into Biden in 2020.
Hi, sweetie.
Birthday. Oh, happy birthday.
What are you, 17?
Yeah.
I know. I told you too much.
But in the 2020 primary, Kamala went after Joe Biden for racial things.
Like the most vicious.
Right.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, we're going to be vice president.
Now we're kumbaya.
Yeah, and I hate that. And again, that's both Republicans and Democrats.
Remember? Actually, we don't remember because we're not old enough. But that said, look back in history. There was a time when if you won the presidency, you were the president, and if you lost, you were the vice president.
Oh my God.
What I wouldn't give.
Oh gosh.
What I wouldn't give.
The Odd Couple, Grumpy Old Men.
Can you imagine? Either way, it worked out. Trump winning or Kamala winning, and then the other having to come out and like do that thing where they walk out on the Capitol steps and like hold hands in the air and all that. And the spouses walk out together. Like
I saw this funny meme of Zelensky, and it's just a text message thread, but it's Zelensky trying to get in touch with Biden.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey Joe, answer my call. Hey Joe, where did you go?
Oh God,
Joe, please get back to me."
Yeah. The deal's still on, right, Joe? You ever, bro? You and I both had those dumb moments with clients where you text them and then they don't get back and you're like, oh God, like you're like, you know, and the next thing you text is not this, but it might as well sound like this. It's like, I will suck your. I love you so much, but that's what it like. That I saw those things and I thought that's exactly what that seems like to me. Is the you know, that moment where he's like, oh gosh, the meal train might be over unless, you know. Okay.
Yeah. So
moving on. I don't understand how they're doing that. I really have no idea how you can just.
In my understanding, there's some states that they've already passed a deadline.
Yeah.
To change names on the ballot.
Yeah.
I've not looked deep into this, but they'd have to do some reconfigurations of something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. There is one guy that I would be concerned about if she chose him, if she's the nominee and she chooses this guy as a VP, and it is the governor of Kentucky. He actually seems, I think it's Brashear.
Yeah, he's pretty good, actually.
He seems like a good dude. He's got a good head on
good
his
moderate. I like that. You know what I mean?
And they've interviewed people in Kentucky who say, I vote red, but he's a good dude who takes care of his citizens.
Pretty moderate, yeah.
That's all we're asking for.
That's all I've been asking for years.
Oh my goodness.
I just don't understand the whole how you in one hand you can speak out one side of your mouth and say threat to democracy, while the other side of your mouth we're instilling her as the nominee without any say of the people.
Right.
Like I'm like, pardon me? Like this isn't a democracy at all that we're being
gosh. So I really hope at the DNC that they decide to do the Ron Burgundy style cage fight.
So that would be great.
I
think about Jesus walking up. You know, Big Lebowski. You've seen the Big Lebowski.
Long time ago, yeah.
So you know, Jesus walks up at the bowling alley and he's like, Dios mío, man. and they're like, he's just like all like menacing. He's like, I see you rolled your way into the semis. Liam and me, we're gonna F you up, man. And they're just like, what? Like, and I'm just like, yes. All right. So I was reading something the other day.
What? You read?
I know. It's okay. I was having something read to me the other day.
It was an audiobook.
Yeah, I read the audio news. Speaking of audiobooks, I got 6.5 hours left in the stand, which I'm hoping to finish. I'm like powering right now. I'm hoping to finish by like tomorrow, so that when I'm on vacay next week, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? I can just because I got a really good Korean War book that I'm bringing with me that I want to read while I'm on, without having that in the back of my brain. I want to know what the hell happened. So anyway,
I just started Brave New World.
Did you really?
I did.
How's that treating you?
I'm about 6 chapters in, and it's kind of crazy that this was written in 1932.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Have you read it?
No, I know I haven't. I want to hear your thoughts on it because I will read it. You know me, I'll read. But it's amazing how some books stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Even another one from way back, Last of the Mohicans, just stands the test of time. You got to get through the different way of talking, the dialect or whatever, but like just the stories, are impressive. So I'm be interested here.
Michael York is doing the reading of the book. You know Michael York?
Yeah.
British actor?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just, so the guy that's doing the stand, he's incredible at voices.
Okay.
And so whenever he switches a voice, I'm like, I know like exactly who you're talking, who you are right now.
I like those kind of audio.
You don't even have to tell me that you're Glenn. I know you're Glenn.
Hey, there's Paul. Good morning, Paul.
Paul, we're talking about, I was just talking about the stand. I got 6.5 hours left of my book. Anyway, But when he switches on that audiobook to, like, say Glenn or Stu or whoever it is, when like he doesn't even have to say, I know exactly who he's, and it's nothing major. It's like he's got a deeper like growl in his voice, just in his natural voice. The reader is, but even when it's just how he switches the dialect or the accent a little bit. Even when he does the women or whatever, like, as soon as he goes, I'm like, oh, it's Franny. Like, you know, I just know it's really good. He's really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm really good. It makes you kind of immerse into it. Okay.
I actually have a military question for you.
Oh, boy.
Does it matter in an investigation if it was a gunshot or a piece of shrapnel? In the big picture investigation, not in the details.
What do you mean, like in
So if I shoot at you,
Twible, Moon? That spells great book. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
So if I shoot at you, and I hit you with a bullet, or I hit you with shrapnel, does it really matter?
I don't think it matters in the intent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the FBI director yesterday?
Oh, no.
He said they can't confirm if it was a bullet or shrapnel.
What does it matter?
Exactly. What? That was my point.
Yeah.
What does it matter? There's
fan of the guy or not a fan of the guy. Someone shot at him and tried to hit him.
There's a guy in the stands who was killed. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it was a bullet or shrapnel.
Well, actually, how can they not confirm? They've slowed down the image several times, and they have the tracer. Like, this whole thing in the last, 2 weeks, I don't care who you are. If someone tries to shoot you in the face and you get, an ear clipped or something like that, that's a big deal.
Yeah!
I wouldn't
it's
want
the intent.
Anybody, enemy or not, to deal with that.
No.
It's and the trying to downplay it, to me, is just...
I showed the kids what...
AOC was trying to downplay it the other day, and I was woman,
gosh.
if you got shot in the ear,
I was showing that clip of Joy Reid trying to equate President Biden getting COVID to what happened to Trump. And my kids and even my wife was like, what?
That's like when I told my wife that my pancreas pain was the same as child labor, she about kicks me out of the house. Yeah, you don't understand what I was going through, babe. The doctor said.
Paul says, doesn't Trump seem a bit nicer, softer since the shooting? Overall, yes.
It does seem a little softer around the edges.
I actually heard somebody that said that they thought his speech of 92 minutes was the right length.
I thought it was excruciatingly long.
I left. I mean, I sat there for about 45 minutes. I left. I did something. I came back. I'm like, he's still talking.
Funny thing is this, I would not have watched it if it hadn't have been for the shooting.
Right.
I would have just went for the cliff notes, right? The hit the spark notes later.
Right. You're like, oh, he's going to do what he normally does.
But I was really intrigued after the whole attempted shooting.
And he did the first 20, 25 minutes. It was like, whoa.
Also, did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Was there any cringe factor? Because there was for me when he walked over and kissed the firefighter thing on the side.
Yeah.
I just thought it was over the top.
Well, the thing is that someone had put on social media, these dumbasses can't even do it right because they spelled the guy who died, they spelled his name wrong on the back of his jacket. And I'm like,
the jacket came from his...
Right, but I'm like, they didn't really screw this up, did they? And come to find out, his name was so long, they couldn't put his entire name on the jacket. That's why it was not spelled correctly.
Got it.
So, yeah, go back to origin.
That's what I just hate in politics is people are always looking for... yeah, I know, it's mentioned, buddy.
Come on, what? There we go.
We've thought about it. That's what I can't stand in politics is the nitpicking for people to find something from the other side where it's let's just be reasonable. You know what I mean? That's why I have a hard time watching Fox News or CNN or MSNBC especially. Either way, I'm like,
oh yeah,
you're an idiot.
When they do their fact checking,
yeah.
President Trump said he had a burrito at 7 p.m., but actually he had a burrito at 7:05. That's a false claim.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Yeah. Both sides try to find stuff that is just not there. And I'm just,
Yeah. Yep.
Be honest. Okay. So I was going to get to the uphill climb I feel that that Harris has if she's the nominee. Yeah, the kissing. Here she goes. The kissing, the helmet was weird, but we also haven't been shot at and lied to. That's, you know what, and that's fair. That is fair. And to put it that way, that's fair. Carrie, I stand corrected. I'm in awe of your light and wisdom. Yeah. And you're right. Now thinking about it, there's got to be. I wonder about the survivor's guilt in the long run. Survivor's guilt is a real thing in accidents and military, different things. Like my buddy Joe, and I love him to death. We were both in the Marine Corps, and his best friend died in his arms in Fallujah. And Joe and I, throughout the years, have off and on gotten together for the Marine Corps birthday and gone down to the bar. And there's a tradition in the Marine Corps. So we always, you have your birthday drink or whatever, and then you take your shot of tequila and you lick the salt, hit the shot, eat the lime. There's an old tradition in the Marine Corps, especially in like the grunt units, that you snort the salt, hit the shot, and squirt the lime in your eye because you're a bad mamma jamma. And Joe and his buddy used to do this, right? And so now Joe has terrible survivor's guilt, and it racks him. And I'm just glad he's got a kid now and he's doing well. And I'm he's one of those guys I like to check in on from time to time. But he will line up two of those, one for his buddy and one for him, and do them both. And I'm just like, and I go, bro, he's always like, you want to do one? I'm like, I'm good. I've done it before. It's miserable. I'm just going to have my beer. But he'll do it twice, and he'll always be like, I need the pain. The pain is a reminder to me that I'm here. And I'm like, so anyways, I wonder in the long run about the survivor's guilt of that. You moved your head. By the way, kid's a terrible shot. We talked about this. I don't move your head or not. Anyway, I hate saying thank God because someone died behind him.
Right.
But anyway, 22 years of bartending. I watched a guy snort tequila. We had to call 911. Can't fix stupid sometimes.
Ooh, that'll clear you out.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's a huge uphill battle for her. So I was reading recently, and it's like, what are Americans most concerned about? The economy is number one, right? And number 2 or 3 on most of these things you read is she has a strong Marxist communist background, wants to ban assault weapons, high capacity mags, gun store advertising, voted against the bill reducing abortions after 20 weeks, of course, raise taxes, free college for most. I do not see eye to eye with her. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there, bud.
Paul posted something on his page. It was 9 things that. It's 9 things that she's all about, that she agrees with. And I'm like, 6 of these 9 I do not support.
And that's got to be drug out. And I saw a video, the interview last night that she did with CNN, I think it was, and they were asking about the border. And she's like, the border's fine. The border's fine. We know the border's fine. We have been to the border. And he stops and he goes, have you been to the border?
Yep.
And she goes, well, I haven't been to Europe either.
Yeah.
And he was like, what?
She's horrible at dodging questions.
I was like, dude, you got to get better at bobbing and weaving.
Right.
That's why I wouldn't ask you for tourist, insight in Europe because you've not been there. I don't want to hear about the border from you either. Anyways, the border's right up there, 2, 3 on most people's concerns. And last night at the former president at his rally, you know who he brought out, who wheeled out on the stage? The director of border security. The director of border security on the southern border.
President Trump.
Trump brought out the director.
Okay, the current one?
Yes.
Oh no!
And he said, and I'm somewhat quoting, but he said, we gave her the directives, told her what was going on. This is what needs to happen, and she followed none of it. It was silence. She's a threat to our country. And I was like, if you're an independent and you're trying to figure out what to do, and the border is an issue, this is going to be painful. If President Trump is going to be able to wheel out the director of the Border Patrol, Border Security, and have him say these things whenever he wants, or at every rally, at everything.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard hill to climb, and obviously the economy.
Well, I've seen a couple independent people say she literally had one job that was given to her as VP.
Yeah,
And it was the border, which
it's been a hot mess.
Yeah, it's a
been
very
mess.
hot.
You know what's wild? You know what's wild?
Tell me.
And I may have said this last week. I got 3 buddies that are Mexican immigrants that work here. Actually 4, but like 3 that I've talked to recently. Every one of them has said if they could vote, because they're all green cards, if they could vote, they would vote for Trump. And I was like, really? Like border security? And one of them joked, and he was like, bro, things are so expensive right now, I might have to sneak back into Mexico. Like, I can't afford it. Because he came here, he told me honestly, he came here illegally 24 years ago, and then he's gotten papered, and he's like, and so we've talked about that, and it's most of my friends that are, and I have quite a few friends that are from Mexico, and that are heavily against Harris, Biden, whomever, simply for the border stuff. It drives them nuts that they are legal, or that they've done things legally, and it is the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, I should have just poured over, like, instead of spending the money, and I talked to another guy that I'm around lately, and he's from India. Check this out. When they started the process to come to our country legally, this is what has to be fixed, bro. When they started the process to come to our country legally, from the start of the process to when they were granted entrance with their residency visa or whatever, 17 years.
Oh, that's all?
17 years.
Like
no one has time for that. Like, I'm going to America when, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I might be dead by then. So I'm like, him and I were talking, and I was like, the process has to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Would be my biggest focus is how do we make it simpler for people who want to come here and contribute and build a better life to come here and do those things.
The funny thing is, you can always tell what are the real important topics in our country.
Yeah.
Because they're beaten to death and they're never fixed.
Correct.
So the immigration process, beaten to death, never fixed.
Yes.
Social Security, beaten to death, never fixed.
Yeah.
All these things, they always talk about these things.
And both sides of the aisle for years.
Right.
Hot buttons.
Oh, yeah. It's both sides, absolutely.
Well, you can't trust like either side. I'm like,
no.
And this whole like we need to go younger and all that kind of stuff. Like, you and I have talked about this. Like, we've said, like, yeah, we should be starting to get younger. But then also, not if it's the same. It's not so much the age, but I'm realizing.
Thank you.
As it's
I'm glad you're bringing this
institutions, up. Right?
So I don't know if you've seen this in the last 48 hours, but all of a sudden, now that Biden has stepped out of the race, all of these pundits are jumping in saying, well, Trump is 78 years old. You Republicans and you conservatives said it was all about age.
Yeah.
No.
Y'all didn't care last week. Yeah.
Right. No, and it has nothing to do with age.
I know.
Can they do the job? And it's the same for someone who's younger. Can they do the job?
Yeah.
Here's my concern. Here's my concern about America is that y'all are going to fall in love with Kamala Harris because she's part of the hip, cool club kids.
Yeah.
Heard about this musical artist, and I use musical. I've become a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
I use musical quotes really lightly. Charlie XCX. So apparently,
the pop singer, who's British, by the way.
I had no idea who this person was. Apparently, she's got an album named Brat, but Brat means, and correct me out there because I have zero.
You're old.
I've become old, but it's supposed to be like living in the moment and doing your thing and not letting anything hold you back. Well, anyways, Kamala Harris's team decided to take the color scheme and the font and put it on their website, and it says Kamala HQ. And they were given permission by this Charlie XCX.
Right.
And so Bella and I were driving back from Owens Beach yesterday. We went there for a couple of her friends, then we were coming back. And I said, have you ever heard this artist before? Bella said, no. I said, well, let's listen. So we pulled up a couple of her songs.
You know a couple of her songs.
I don't. And I listened to her top songs.
Okay.
Bro, this is what you want to.
I know.
You want to surround yourself with this kind of an artist?
Yeah.
You're going to lead America. You're going to lead America. And this is what you're going to be like, yeah, I'm hip and I'm cool. I've never liked that.
I've said for years, like, my biggest thing is with both sides is like, you know, my friends in Denmark, my friends in Europe who are like, bro, y'all are just embarrassing the hell out of like yourselves on a international scale. Because I just felt like for years, and we've talked about this before, I felt like for years I didn't have to worry about, like, agree or disagree, I didn't have to worry about whoever our president was or the candidates were, for lack of a better term, showing their ass on stage.
Yeah.
And like, and we've gone down the line. Like, let's just think about who I can remember as presidents in my life. Reagan. Okay. Agree or disagree with his policies. He was an upstanding person who showed well, right? And like you carried himself with some integrity, and George H.W. Bush, same thing, right? Clinton obviously had his thing.
He was the beginning of the Cool Kids Club, from what I remember.
Yeah, but
he still could.
He was well spoken,
right.
Carried himself well, and it's like, and you want to bring up the Lewinsky thing and all kind of stuff. Like, I still am like, look, no one's perfect, and I don't know that we use personal lives to try to bring somebody down. So I've always had a hard time with that, even the whole. And that goes into the Trump thing with did he or did he not, like with Stormy Daniels. Like, I don't care. Like, personal life is personal life. But anyways, you go, Clinton right into George W. Bush, agree or disagree. He was respected, carried himself with integrity. Obama, the same thing. It's not until really.
Someone had told me that, did we have a multiverse shift in 2016?
Yeah.
Like, we went down the wrong path in 2016. And I told him, I can't disagree with you. Like, something happened in 2016 and we went down the alternate Back to the Future path.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And it's like, dude, can we.
Damn it, Marty. Why did you have to give them a sports book?
Can we all just have a little more class? So, and I told you, like, my buddy in Denmark, if you ever watch this, he's a judge, and said he was so funny. He was so like, because he lived in the U.S. for a while. He's so like, he was so pro Biden in 2020, like anti-Trump, and then now he's like, I hate to say it, but I've swung back. Like, I'm just like, he's embarrassed himself on an international stage for you guys, and that's tough. And I'm like, that's the thing, man. I just want somebody who I agree with or don't agree with that can just carry themselves with a little.
And the thing is, I'm not even saying Trump is the right answer.
No.
Trump can make a fool of himself just like the best of them.
Very well. Yeah, he's great at it, actually. Yeah.
I like what Carrie Ann says here. Did y'all see the Carrington Harding meme with Hillary and Kamala face up?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Kerrigan is Harris.
Yeah.
And then Tanya Harding, where she's skating behind her.
See, I love that. I love that even more. Yeah. I've seen the one where it was Joe Biden and the DNC.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm telling you guys, that is my dark horse pick. Why is this not
coming out of the woodwork?
Okay, so apparently, thank you. Both Ryan and I have this thing now. Whenever we start talking about it, like, because we were watching something, all of a sudden Ryan goes, "You know what, Dad?" And I look over at him, and he looks at me, and it's almost like a bro moment. He goes, "You know what, Dad?" And all of a sudden we take our arms out. She's coming.
I just still am going back to the whole thing of like, how can you do it without primaries, man? Like, it takes. Don't talk to me about democracy and not have a primary for the candidate. Like, it just takes it right out for me. I have a hard time with it. So you don't have to be a good person to be a good president. Give up on that. You know what? That's a great. Honestly,
but you should.
Well,
you should. I mean, you don't have to be perfect.
You know what's funny is have you ever read I like to look at, like, I mean, obviously there's approval ratings and all that kind of stuff. And I said for a lot of years during George W. Bush's presidency, and I was biased because I voted for the guy. I served.
You met the guy?
I met him. He was just a really great guy, and it was a good moment. And I agreed with a lot of his stuff. And he took care of the military, and I was in the military during his presidency, so it was, it hit home for me. Reminder that we're not. Yeah, true.
What?
Yeah,
Ryan, that can't be correct.
I know.
Everybody's been saying on the media that we're a democracy.
Yeah,
I'm stunned.
Yeah, democracy is on the table. For what? We don't have a democracy. We have a republic.
Are we playing poker?
Yeah. So anyway, all that to say,
it's gonna be interesting.
I like to look at those approved ratings and I said it during George W. Bush's thing. I said, I feel like his presidency is going to be looked back with a little bit more kindness down the road.
Maybe.
It already has. Like, if you look at his approved ratings when he left office, they've already gone up like 8-9 points, like when people look back on things.
I look back on
because people are remembering that, like, you can't have an attack on U.S. soil like that against citizens. It's never happened before. And then all the people that were like, "Oh, should have done this," bro. All of you who are saying should have done this, should have done that, have a hard enough time ruling your own house, let alone a country. The world's foremost
power.
But
I still think he can be open to criticism about how things continue to go.
I'm not saying that he can't be. Yeah, I'm not saying.
I think that's a fair thing to say.
I will also say, I remember I had a friend who and we were in the Marine Corps together, and he was pretty moderate, I would say, or even more left-leaning, left of central. And he, for a long time, he was anti the war, anti the Iraq war. And I mean, he's like, I'm going to do whatever I'm asked to do, but, and I feel like we were lied to get into this war, blah, blah, blah. And then he went there and he came back, and I remember him crying and stuff, and him saying, I don't care the reasons we went. And I don't care that if they lied or didn't lie to us about WMDs or what got us there. When I was in Iraq and I saw little kids with their faces melted off that were done so by chemical attacks from their own regime, Chemical Ali and Saddam Hussein, I don't care what they did to get us there. Those people needed help. And if that was if that's what they had to do to get us into there, I'm glad we were there. And he's like, and from that moment on, he's like, I will take no criticism from anybody unless they can tell me that they were there and they have an experience and they can tell me, and I was like, fair enough, bro. I'm not here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good perspective to have. You can also think about the families that lost their sons and their daughters.
That said, if their sons and daughters believed in what they were doing, it's their choice.
Well, they believed in America. They believed in following orders. I mean, and I know that you and I have a little bit different perspective on it. As time has gone, I mean, I went from being gung-ho on us being over there as a citizen, went gung-ho on us being over there too, having a little bit more perspective and going, you know what? It feels like things, and maybe it was just the way it was sold to us in the sense of mission accomplished.
Right.
That whole idea. That might have been one of the dumbest political things to do in the last quarter century. Instead of doing mission accomplished and then having more years of having our soldiers over there lose lives. It's like when you say mission accomplished, like when your old man knocked out everything in 1991 in a short span.
Yeah.
That's mission accomplished.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is that in 1991 there was the enemy. We've neutralized them and we're done.
Yeah.
To this day, the enemy is not neutralized. There are still terrorist attacks. Hamas is a prime example. The human shields, the human walls. And I think that the fear at that time was if you don't keep going, then a 9/11 happens again.
Right.
Because these people aren't exactly out there wearing red coats on the front lines.
They're not?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. I got to tell you, every time I see you in here, I for a hot second, I think my dad's here. He has a long white ponytail just like you, the beard, all that stuff. He's tall, slender, and I'm like, Dad?
I don't think so.
Yeah. The 70s were wild. Who knows? Take care, sir. Appreciate you. Great guy. Love that guy. He's always in here.
Yeah.
Like almost every time I'm in here, I see him in here having his coffee. So, he's right though. Like just need to have conversations. People are not willing to have conversations.
No, have you seen the former ESPN funny guy, Keith Olbermann?
He's a d-bag, bro.
He is like
he's a troll.
He is so angry with life.
Yeah, he's
like,
a troll.
The latest thing I saw,
and he's a Washingtonian.
The latest thing I saw was that there was a guy who played, I want to say for the Rays or the Brewers, one of the two, I can't remember, and he got a double. And, you know, the camera showing everything. He gets on base.
Fight.
Yeah, and he's looking back at his dugout, and he's like, fight. And Overman's like, he needs to be suspended. Oh, and it was the Cardinals. So the first guy
with
did.
Tampa Bay.
The first guy did.
Yeah.
With the Cardinals, I guess the one guy was going around third base or whatever, and he puts his hand up here, and he's like doing this. Has nothing to do with Trump.
Yeah.
Has everything to do with being a DJ.
Yeah. And
Oberman, they need to be suspended. There's no place in baseball for this. The Major League Baseball is an atrocity. No.
Bro, how many athletes use their platform for politics? Just because you don't agree with the politics.
He's lost it.
Like, I don't
Oberman's from Washington?
Yeah, it's from Federal Way.
You're not thinking of Kenny Mayne?
Olbermann, I'm pretty sure is from Washington originally.
Oh, we're sorry.
Maybe I'm wrong. Kenny Mayne.
Sense.
I used to, you know, the thing that sucks. I used to love Olbermann on ESPN when he'd be like,
too.
"Good," he'd do that. Good.
I'm looking him up today. You keep talking.
Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, okay, New York. So I was wrong. Kenny Mayne, you're right. Kenny Mayne is.
Yeah.
So maybe
to
I'm just
confiscate Cardinals franchise. He's gone.
I think he's gone off his rocker.
He's more off of his rocker than Biden.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because he was such a good personality on ESPN back in the day. But he's an angry elf.
Attention, Major League Baseball. Ban these guys from baseball for life. Confiscate the Cardinals franchise and implode the stadium.
Unbelievable.
America's had enough of this S.
They should stick to sports. Okay, well then I want LeBron James to stick to sports when he has things to say.
Exactly.
I want all these people to stick to sports when they have things to say. So it's I for a long time have been someone who said I think they should stick mainly to sports. But if you're going to allow one person, you got to allow them all, whether you agree or not. It's not the whole thing. And if that's the case, Olbermann, when you were with ESPN and giving your political opinion all the time, stick to sports.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Old Crimson Legendary Lager. I still need to have some of that. Okay. I thought we needed a commercial break.
You're probably right, bro.
So hey, what is something stupid that you remember from school that you do not use?
We don't have this kind of time, bro.
I've got one thing. I can tell you how to spell entomology.
Entomology?
Yeah.
Okay.
ENTOMOLOGY.
Is that like the eating of Entmans?
No, it's the study of insects. Which I have no use for that word or that category.
I always go back to math, and I'm like, can somebody explain to me? I remember teachers telling me I needed all that stuff, and I could tell you, I could round to the highest number, which is 0, of how many times like I used the Pythagorean theorem in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right, Coach Dittmer. Time for you to jump on here.
And it's and don't get me wrong, like I think as I've gotten older, I do see somewhat of a value in learning certain things you may not ever being used, just the stick-to-itiveness and being well-rounded and all that kind of stuff. That said, like, why do I need reach a higher math class every year of my high school? Like, that's their thing. You got to take one math class every year, one whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I think like if I get through geometry, like I should be fine. Like, why do I need to take calculus? Why, like, geometry? Okay, some angles, understanding things. Yeah, okay, I get it.
One of the things that I use all of the time,
Paul, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species.
Yeah. I don't even know that. One of the things that I use all of the time is, and I'll do a visual representation. Okay, so if my iPhone is the same as this 16-ounce cup of coffee,
okay,
then what is an iPhone to this 20-ounce cup of coffee?
Yeah.
I use that all the time.
Okay.
And it's better to actually show it on paper.
I almost wonder if schools shouldn't be. We talk about trades.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you shouldn't go to college. If college isn't for you, and I hate that whole thing of everyone needs to go to college. I think if we focus more on making school, I know it's hard because you have such huge student bodies, and it's hard to tailor it to needs. It's like a one size fits all kind of a thing. That either fits you or it doesn't. Like, but schools, I've seen it go up. They have pathways. Like they have these pathway things. Like, oh, you're going to be doing this, so you're in this pathway. Like, I just feel like even if, like, say a kid who is, say, a sophomore at Puyallup High School doesn't know what he wants to be, but he knows it's not a mathematician, but he wants to do something in trades or work with his hands. Let's make it so that he can do more auto shop classes, more welding classes, more wood shop classes, more things that actually stimulate. Paul's on a bender now. Interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Let's make it so that these kids can have more classes, I think, that stimulate their brain or what makes them work. I'd rather send a kid to 6 classes that day than I know those 6 classes are going to stimulate their learning process, their growth, and give them something like to be excited about versus like, dude, we'd look at the schedules and be like, yeah, first and second period suck. Thank God for third period. And then you'd be like, fourth period, and then fifth and sixth are great or whatever it was. And we were on block scheduling, so it was twice as bad because you were like, if I got to go to this class for like half the day.
Yeah, 90 minutes for this freaking class.
If there's a way to like stimulate some of these kids to like for things that they actually, I just think you get more productive members of society.
I think what you could do is you could do a general, like what we hope they would do is just basically general studies until about middle school. Okay. So I mean, you do learn that there's a thing called kingdom and phylum and class, and you learn that. But if you don't want to take that education further in that particular study,
I think Lip Dog. I think I think Miss Karen Lippy, the Lip Dog, taught me about phylum down there in the wetlands class. Rest in peace, Lip Dog.
Yeah, so the thing is, I couldn't care less about that field of study.
Yeah.
And so, but I think it's good that they touch on it. But once you start getting to middle school, okay, let's start going down that road. What you're talking about of, hey, let's find the areas you're looking at. Instead, like my daughter who hates math, she's been taking higher levels of math, and sure, she's learning it, but she hates it. Yeah. She's like, I don't see a practical application in my life for this, and she doesn't need that if she's going to be a homemaker or if she's going to be a designer or anything. Can you read a ruler? It does get a little, I think, over the top with us. The whole 4 years of math thing, and Puyallup's done away with that. Maddie didn't have to take math her senior year. She had met all of her requirements that covered her through freshman year of college or whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, why? When they could be focusing more on things that motivate and inspire them. Yeah.
I think algebra. And I think if you have more people in the world that are inspired by what they're doing, you just have a better society.
I think algebra for sure. Algebra 2, I could be persuaded one way or the other, but I think having basic higher level math skills other than 1 + 1, I think it's good for everybody.
And I do understand kids need to learn to do things that they don't necessarily like, because that's life sometimes, and get through things and stick to it. But it just gets a little excessive.
Yeah, Paul says higher levels of math teach logic.
Yeah, that's true. Since we're talking about school, shout out to my Lanybug and my Matty Bear. Both of them. My freshman Lanybug got a 4, the highest score you can attain on her AP test. Yeah, as a freshman, I'm like, sweetheart, I couldn't have gotten a 1. And I've lived 44 years. And Maddie also, I can't remember what her scores were, really high, but she got both her AP tests passed and got. She just got a letter yesterday from Chaminade that because of those, she acquired 6 college credits and now doesn't have to take these 2 or 3 classes she would have had to take. And so she's like. And I said, and so she, it's so funny because at that age, I'm like, you're going to understand it more. I was like, the great thing is now that's opening up 2 or 3 classes that you can take something that you really enjoy. It can make it easier for you to minor in something that is, like if you're going into communications and you're going into the journalism aspect, but maybe you want a minor in video production, to help you with that. Now you're going to have more time to do so. So that's really cool.
Nice.
So, congrats to them. They're better than me. We already knew that. But yeah. Already knew that. So.
Well, hey, summer's halfway over.
Praise the Lord. No, I'm ready for eternal summer. I actually have a shirt at home that says Eternal Summer, and I'm like, and it's like from the movie Eternal Summer, and I'm just like, I know you like fall and winter, and I do too. If I was the Lord, I would have 11 months and 1 week of summer, and then a week of fall, a week of winter, a week of spring, and bury back into it. So,
well, for me, the first hint of fall is when I see a news story that says Seahawks training camp has started, and I'm thinking to myself,
I thought you were going to say, because I see a firework on the 4th of July. Fall is coming. It's coming. Yeah.
No, actually, I say that to Christy on the summer solstice.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? Tomorrow's a shorter day than today.
Oh my gosh.
But
Your
no,
poor wife who just wants to go somewhere tropical,
she hates it,
and she married you.
Yeah, I told her. I said we moved to Flagstaff. That way, if you really want summer,
we've had this discussion before. You need to take that woman somewhere tropical and deal with it, and not be a grumpus.
No.
Are you telling me this woman wants to go to Hawaii or
I will buy her a plane ticket.
Belize? Oh my gosh, she wants to spend it with what I assume to be the love of her life.
She can spend it with Marco.
Oh my gosh, he's full of crap. If this woman said, take me to Hawaii, he would take her to Hawaii. He would be that guy on the beach. You know what I imagine? Like Lilo and Stitch, the guy with the ice cream. Like, picture me the guy on the beach with the calf-high white socks walking around in the sandals.
Right. Covered in white
sunscreen. The beak just standing out.
Yep, that would be me.
Oh, my gosh. Take this woman somewhere tropical.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, it's starting to get little sprinkles here and there of NFL, like Joe Burrow's. What the hell is that haircut?
Is it long?
No, he's bleached it blonde.
Oh, I don't know.
But it's these little things. Like,
yeah, it's like DK Metcalf that at camp signing for a kid, and thank God, too, because those bums this summer, the Mariners are just running that train into a dark tunnel.
Can I just say that the entire Major League Baseball, I mean, I was talking to...
The problem is...
I got something to share with you.
A lot of mediocrity.
Yeah.
A lot of mediocrity.
It really feels like
there's like 2 or 3 teams that are really good, and then a lot of mediocrity. Yeah.
So we're driving back home yesterday, and we're listening. I'm putting on some tunes, and we're listening to Will Smith's "Summertime," which just jogs a memory. Which I told Bella, I said this is one of the best summer songs ever. But jogs a memory that Will Smith did a song called "Higher Baby." Do you remember what that song's about?
No.
The 1992 Olympics Dream Team.
Oh,
which then I got the joy of explaining to Bella.
Yeah.
The greatest basketball team ever to play the game.
Ever assembled, yeah.
Yeah. And I went down the list. I said, okay, he was him.
11
Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. Is Clyde Drexler a Hall of Famer?
Yes. It's 11 Hall of Famers and a college student. Wow. And in all honesty, it's 11 Hall of Famers.
And a national champion?
2-time national champion, hit the greatest shot in college basketball history, and is a college basketball Hall of Famer. It's not like he's a schlub.
Well, that's true.
Christian Laettner. And in all honesty, Christian Laettner had a pretty good NBA career. It just wasn't what everyone thought it was going to be.
Yeah. But I got to tell Bella, I said, this era of basketball was the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was, you would stop what you were doing to watch what was happening
here. I
here.
remember that being and I think more than any other year, I can remember, I was 12, right? Like 11, 12. And the discussions and the arguments around who you take and who you don't take.
Yeah.
Because there were so many Hall of Famers at that point, future Hall of Famers. I mean, think about the guys that weren't on that team that were Hall of Famers. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Shaquille O'Neal. Like, think about some of those guys that were in consideration.
Well, that's the thing. Dream Team 2 was still pretty good.
It's pretty stacked. Yeah, it was pretty stacked. And it came down to Laettner or Shaquille O'Neal as the one college guy that they were going to take. And it was like this whole...
could you imagine?
And I think that they just felt Laettner fit in better with the style at the time. But people also forget about how athletic Shaquille O'Neal was.
Oh, man, he was a dude. Okay, so Dream Team 2, because I haven't really looked at this in a long time.
Gary Payton was on that.
So Dream Team 2, Barkley, Grant Hill.
There were 2 holdovers. Or no, there were a few holdovers.
Yeah.
It was Stockton, Malone, Pippen. Was Pippen on the first Dream Team? I don't believe he was.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
and Charles Barkley. So there were 4 holdovers. Or 5. David Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you had Grant Hill.
Penny Hardaway.
People forget about Penny Hardaway, bro.
Oh, I did. Mitch Richmond. Forgot about him.
Dude, that guy could shoot.
Reggie Miller. That's a guy that should have been on the first one.
There's another one. Shaquille O'Neal.
Gary Payton. That's right.
Hakeem.
The Dream.
The Dream Shake, buddy.
So, the beautiful thing was I got to share with Bella that era of basketball was just awesome.
Yeah.
Like I told her, I said, you know how Dad really doesn't watch that much sports? When I was younger, I was all about watching the NBA. I was just dialed in on watching the NBA.
I was too, and we've talked about this.
Yep.
I found my love for the NBA in the late 80s, early 90s. And then I just devoured 80s basketball, like watching video or however I could, into the mid to late 90s. I was still very hardcore during the Lakers runs in the early 2000s. And I lost it when Kobe left.
Oh, when did Kobe retire?
2014.
Really? He had been retired that long?
I lost it. And he was like the last thing holding me, kind of gluing me to it, because of the chippiness, the competitive streak in which he played with. I've lost it, dude. I cannot. I watched 0 NBA Finals games. I watched a couple playoff games that the Mavs were in, or the Nuggets were in, because I just enjoyed the style of play a little bit. But I feel like it used to be, I'm sorry for the sexist verbiage, but like it was a man's game, and I just can't get into it anymore. Like I saw this comparison video of Kobe and LeBron, and the guy was like, this is why I can never get on LeBron in the conversation of GOAT. No matter how many points he scores, no matter whatever. And it showed every time, not every time, obviously, it showed 7 or 8 times that Kobe had gotten knocked down. And then he gets up and he's in someone's face, and he's barking or whatever. Even in practice, elbowing his own guys and all this kind of stuff. And just the edge.
Yeah.
And then it went through a reel of, this and LeBron hitting the ground and then acting like his shoulder's dislocated and all that kind of stuff. You would have never seen that type of behavior from Kobe, from Jordan, from Bird, from Johnson, from Thomas, from Abdul-Jabbar, from Irving. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I just can't get into it, man. I just cannot, And
I've told you before, it drives me nuts to see how many steps are taken.
Yeah.
It just,
I actually have gotten in it. We've watched the NBA a couple times. We watch games, and I go. It's funny because the girls do it with me because they like old school ball too, and I'm like, travel, travel, carry, travel, carry, travel.
Boy, those are the two.
Three in the key. 18 seconds in the key. Like, just drives me nuts, dude. Like, don't have rules if they're not going to be. And you know who one of the top offenders is everybody's favorite, and he's fun to watch. Is Steph Curry.
Oh yeah,
he hops every time, like full 2-step hops. It's a travel, like, and that's why even with Steph Curry, I have a hard time of saying one of the greats of all time. Is because like, Grant, you want to say he's one of the greatest shooters of all time? Yes, you could even say he's the greatest shooter of all time, hands down. But probably half his threes he's traveled to get open, and so I just have a hard time with that. Like, Anyway.
Oh,
but yeah, so fall's coming.
Fall is coming. Yeah.
Are you excited about Seahawk football, bro?
I am interested to see.
I'm interested
because it's a new era. With Pete gone.
Mike and I were talking about this the other day, and I'm still in the whole careful what you wish for. It's amazing how people get tired of winning.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could also be like the Baltimore Ravens in their first Super Bowl run, where we don't care what the offense does because the defense is so freaking amazing.
That's my hope, dude. I love watching smash mouth defensive football.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
that's what football's all about.
And I am excited to see everything I've read about the guy and I've seen or heard about the guy is like he has the ability to make something out of nothing. And I look at our defense and I'm like, let's hope that's true because our linebackers are pretty green.
Wagner, did he retire or did he go somewhere else?
No, he's with the Commanders. Dan Quinn.
That's right.
He's with the Washington Redskins. I'm going to die. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
You're going to get canceled.
Yeah. But I have a hard time with – I mean, I'm really excited to see what he does with that defense.
Yeah.
Because there's also some players on there that have been – I think that have underperformed, right? We got Leonard Williams back, and then you got guys that like everyone thought was going to be incredible that have underperformed. Guys like Boye Mafe, Darrell Taylor, even Jaron Reed in the middle at times. Like even though he had a pretty good year last year. I'm excited to see what he does with those guys. I'm excited to see what he does with our draft pick because by all accounts, people are like, he's the closest thing to Aaron Donald since Aaron Donald. So I'm excited to see what he does.
So I'm excited to see Seahawks football. I'm excited to see college football with all the realignment that has happened in the past year or two. Now you got to shut up and play the games.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested in seeing that. I honestly, you know me, I really hope that purple and gold just melts right into Montlake. To me, that would be the most glorious thing in this college football season. What would really suck is if they take off and they're just competitors in the Big Ten. Then that just hurts like hell.
I just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. They're dead to me.
Yeah,
I don't know them.
There's no video film of me talking about how bad they'll suck. There's no film. You can't prove it.
That's right.
You can't prove it. Rory, delete it. Yeah.
Set to only me.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can watch college football this year, dude.
Yeah?
I'm just not into it, man. There's no part of me that's excited about it.
I am.
Check out the Minshew video I posted on my Facebook. You're darn right I will. You're darn right. I know you are. That's your jam.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, can we get some NFL and that bleed me into November so I can get to college basketball and I'll be.
You know, it's going to be interesting with football. You know, they're changing the kickoff rule, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's something different. If it's going to not kill people, then
why do we watch? I'm here to see people die. Well, and then we have, I'll be paying very close attention to some women's college basketball this season.
That's right. Are they on TV at all?
There's a chance that they could be, but all their games are streamed for free. I'm really excited, man. So I can't fathom. First off, I got to fathom that. What do we got today? 25th. I got to fathom that in about 23 days, I will drop her off and say goodbye, or see you later. And so that's going to be tough. But then I'm so excited to watch. Just waiting for November to show up so I can watch my daughter play college ball. It's going to be. It's funny because you get the. I think that's going to be kind of an emotional thing. Watching her get all of her offers and all that kind of stuff and get the attention she got. After a while, you get kind of like, oh, you got an offer. Attention. Must be nice. And then, you're always excited, but I'm like, this is going to be watching her go out on the court for the first time as a college athlete is going to be,
that's cool.
Really hit in the face. So in the feels, you're going to weep. I know it, buddy. I know it, Paul.
He's about ready to cry right now.
I know. I'm struggling right now. So it's. And I'll admit there is something pretty magical about a fall in the Northwest. It is pretty amazing. If I'm honest, I really love that first month. And it's not just the changing of the colors; it's the kicking out the old flannel, and putting it on, that feeling.
Yes.
Maybe pulling the beanie down, going out for a walk in the brisk weather. I love it. It's great. Just by the time you get to like mid-November or whatever, I'm like, all right, let's get back to the sunshine. I got my taste. I love it. It's needed. It's good for the soul. But now I need to get back to some weather.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Anyway, it's and I think that's part of the reason why, though, I love the idea sometime of living in like Wyoming, Montana, where you got 4 distinct seasons. And if I'm retired, I can leave in the winter
There you go.
for a while.
Yep.
But I can still experience all of it. I don't know. So, what's up with you this week, buddy? What do you got going on this weekend?
What do I got going on this week? Got a listing photo shoot today, and then tomorrow got a listing going live. We got a listing going live. So if you want to be my neighbor.
Oh, Mr. Rogers over here.
Yeah, don't. You know what?
Won't you be?
I mean, I want to sell the house for our good friends, but I don't want anybody living next to me.
Why do I feel like you're going to be like, what's his face? Cousin Eddie out there, like emptying the crapper when they're doing showings.
Oh, yeah.
Walking around in your row, playing with your chest hair while there's a realtor out there with their clients, like trying to defer people. I'm going to be like, Pix! To sell the house.
I need you to give a love letter with your offer.
Yeah.
So I won't give it to the sellers, but I will read it.
Yeah. Make proper edits.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So got that.
I'm going to be trying to screen the applicants, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to be being a little bit of a chaperone on Saturday.
What you got going on?
My youngest and her boyfriend are going to be hanging out for a little bit, so
You have to chaperone this.
I'm going to keep my eye on both of them.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding?
What are they doing?
They're going to do the farmer's market, and then they're going to go over and not get shot at the Tacoma Mall.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is she not allowed to drive? Oh, you can't drive with people in your car for a while when you first get your license. So that's one thing.
Yeah, she can't.
Can he?
Yeah, he can.
But you're chaperoning anyway?
Well, he doesn't want to come all the way out to Tahuya to pick her up.
The chivalry, bro.
I don't blame him. I didn't like driving to Grapeview to pick up Christy. That was 15 minutes.
You're nice. If one of my daughter's boyfriends be like, hey, Dad, he doesn't want, I'm like, well, that's a bummer. I guess you're not going. Perfect. Yeah. He's a loser.
But we had
loser.
I had Bella drive the truck from Tahuya to Owens Beach yesterday and then drive it back. So I want her to get a little bit more experience driving the big old truck because I know eventually I'm going to have to say.
Can she not drive a manual?
No.
A stick? Okay.
No. I thought about taking her out to show her how to do that, but she's kind of like her mom in the sense of, let's not overwhelm me. An automatic is just enough.
You know what's funny is I've always been someone who says you should learn how to drive a manual. And I want my daughters, and my son too, but I don't have one at the house for them to try. But I can remember Paul MacArthur and Daryl Hanley were mowing lawns in high school, and Paul had his truck, and it was a stick shift. And he had an accident with the lawnmower, and the lawnmower went over his leg.
Yeah.
And they jump in the car to rush him. He's dragging his leg behind and Daryl gets in the driver's seat of Paul's truck and can't drive it.
Yeah.
And then Paul's gushing blood as he's clutching and stuff with his leg that needed 100 some odd stitches. And so I've always been like, see, you have to learn. But I haven't had the opportunity to teach the girls, and I wish I had.
Yeah.
Stick around. I haven't learned, but yeah.
How about you? What do you got going on this weekend?
Saturday, prepping for Idaho. Making sure everything's in the camper. We got the trailer all set up. Rachel's been at it. We were scrubbing it down, cleaning it up a bit yesterday. Starting to get things put in it. Rachel would like to have most of it packed today and tomorrow, while I'm out and about. So that Saturday we can just do some grocery shopping and put the food in it. And then Sunday we hit the road for Idaho for the week.
Nice.
So I think of all the vacations I've taken in my life for places that I've been, and I love, me, I love tropical. I love to get to beaches and that kind of stuff. But this is the thing I look forward to the most the whole year. I'm an outdoorsman by trade. And just being kind of up outside and spending time on the lake. It's quiet. I don't have my phone's off. I read. I spend time with the kids, go on nature walks, like just in my element. I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
So, that's what we're leaning into, buddy.
Right. Oh.
So, what do we got? 11:35. Anything else?
So no show next week.
Or the week after.
Or the week after that. Or the week after that.
Hey, so yeah,
you guys have been waiting 90 minutes for the breaking news.
Yeah, Rory put his little graphic up. Could this be the end?
Yeah, it wasn't about politics.
It is goodbye for a while. It is see you later. We just have too much going on. Obviously, I'm out of town 2 of the next 3 weeks between vacation and then taking Maddie to school. There'd be one Thursday in between. Rory's got a lot going on. We've had to move things around a ton to be able to do it every Thursday. Between work and family commitments. And so with, I think it was like 3 of the next 4 weeks, we just couldn't do it. And then after that, the kids are getting back into school. We just decided it's time for a hiatus. So we love doing it.
It's not because we're angry.
It's not you. It's me.
Yeah, it's the weird thing. Last time we quit, we were like, F everybody.
Walked out, left our stuff behind.
Yep.
You have to download 112363, great book to read in Idaho. Okay, you got it.
Oh, that's right.
I'm on it. Thanks, Paul. So for the foreseeable future, there's not going to be a show. That doesn't mean we won't pop up with randoms and one-offs when we have chances. But we're not going to be doing the every Thursday thing for a while.
Yep.
So get over it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
And we understand if you listen to the podcast, just go back and listen to other episodes.
Start at the beginning.
It'll be like us all over again.
It'll be such a journey for you to go from happy-go-lucky to just anger, bitterness, resentment, quitting, and then coming back. And then coming back, hi! So, anyway.
It's so true. It's so true.
As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in with us, and we genuinely love doing this, and hope to get back to it at some point.
If somebody would pay us, it'd be great.
Foreseeable future, we don't make enough money on this show to make it a priority.
We make $0.00, which is actually good for taxes.
Yeah, on the show. Can't be a priority. Yeah, it is good for taxes. What kind of a write-off do we get for this? So,
well, I do have one little small clip. I think it's appropriate, and it comes from one of our favorite movies, the Lego Movie.
Okay.
I think it's appropriate, everybody.
Let's see what we got.
I don't like goodbyes. Let's just call this see you later, alligator.
Perfect, dude. That's
so
us.
You guys take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble.
You know how to get a hold of us.
Yep. You'll see us all over the
place. We won't be gone forever, but for the foreseeable future, Thursdays are off the table. So don't be strangers. We love you. Take care of each other. High five a veteran. Slap your buddy on the butt. Give your wife a hug and a smooch, or your husband, Rachel, Christy. Quitters. What's next? Alcohol. Let's not get overboard. Let's not go overboard.
We still got a presidential election to go through.
Crazy talk, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, y'all take care.
All right. Later, alligator.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!